Hello my crafty friends, it's Andrea from Prairie Sky Papercraft, your independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Manitoba. Today we are going to be doing a one sheet wonder with designer series paper that we're going to make ourselves. I'm using leaves of holly, and I will be using the 2 holly leaves here as well as the berries. My colors of choice are real red, garden green, and old olive. Now, I had thought that I would be using the basic white, but it feels like that's always used for stamping, so I wanted to make it a little bit more rustic. So I decided crumb cake was our color of the day. I love this color, and it feels like I haven't used it in a really long time. So as I said, the 2 holly leaves that I'm going to be using are this one and this one, as well as the berries. So let's get started. I'm going to do 1 set of leaves in garden green. The other set is going to be done in old olive. Get it off of the plastic. Now, photopolymer is amazing because you can totally see where you are stamping. This is the first time that I've used this one. So garden green is going to be this. So I'm just going to grab a Post-it because I like to stamp a sample first just to make sure that I'm going to get a really good clean impression. Oh, that looks awesome. And I'm going to try, you know what? I think we're going to do that. I'm going to do a stamp and then a double stamp. Or a second impression. So what I'm going to do is go vertically and horizontally, kind of trying to keep sort of in the center, so that we're going to get 4 card bases out of this when we're done. So I'm going to do, now center, oh shoot, there's something under here. All right. You know what? That's fine. That will get fixed. So I'll do that. I'll do there. We'll start off the paper for this one and then do sort of there. And then I cleaned off my desk, but it still doesn't feel like I have enough room today. There. Maybe we'll try a second impression up top because this is a photopolymer. And you know what? If I don't like it, no. So flip, start again. It doesn't have to be perfect because it never will be perfect. Just gotta do your best and come up with something that you're relatively happy with, is basically how I run my craft room. You know what, I think I'm gonna do here and then there. And then I feel like I need to keep that one going the same direction. But for the other one that we're gonna do, we're gonna close up the garden green so we don't make a hot mess of it. Open up our stamp case and put this on so that this one that's already green doesn't accidentally turn something else green. And then I'm gonna grab our bigger stamp. Now, if you are worried about your stamp staining, especially the photopolymer, reds and blues tend to be the ones that stain the most. What I like to do, sometimes I forgot to do it today, is either go over with a really light color and kind of season it, or go over it with Versamark a couple of times, and then that will also help you not have a whole ton of, I mean, it still will stain, but not as bad. All right, that works. Okay, so then this one, we're gonna go, oops, the whole thing. There we go. Kind of go here. And there. We're just kind of filling in where we didn't get a whole bunch of color. Now we will also be going through with our berries, so it's not a big deal if you've got a few spaces that still need something. And you also want to keep in mind that you need a spot somewhere on here for your sentiment as well. Now I'm going to go this way here with that. Okay, I think we're probably good. It's sometimes hard to envision what this is going to look like when you cut it into your quarters, but you can always take a piece of paper and kind of estimate where the half is and what it's going to look like. I kind of like to freewheel and just go with it and see what it's going to look like. Sometimes it works, sometimes, well, not so much. Okay, now grab our real red. Real red to me is pretty close to the perfect Christmas red. I grabbed Sweet Sorbet too because I was not really sure. Not sure if we're going to use those ones or if we're going to use the more solid berries. Let's take a peek and see. And Sweet Sorbet, while it's a gorgeous color, to me it was a little on the pink side for this. Yeah, we're going to use the solid, more solid. And then we're just going to put some berries down, just kind of random. Make sure I'm doing it where you can actually see what I'm doing. And again, if you don't love it, you can flip it over. It can be covered with ribbon. It can be covered up with an embellishment. Really pretty much anything. There's no such thing as perfect when you're creating art. I like to just go where the mood takes me. Up there. And then of course too, when you're creating, when you have it cut down and you've got it placed on the card, you can always go back and add, because you know the colors that you've used, the stamps that you've used. If it's not exactly what you were hoping, you can always go back and add more. That's what I usually end up doing as well, because sometimes you just don't get enough of something where you want it to be. All right, now I think we've done enough there. So I'm going to close this guy up because I don't want red on my hands. Now I am going to use Real Red as my card base. Pop over to my VIP group, Prairie Sky Paper Crafters, to get the full intel on what I'm creating and the measurements that I'm using. Okay, so I'm going to cut I want about 1/4 of an inch off of each side because I want this to be a little bit smaller so that you can see the card base. Oops. And we're going shopping for Halloween stuff later today. It feels weird to be creating holiday cards on the day that we're doing Christmassy stuff. Okay, so do here. And there. Okay, and then I'm going to use the full card base. I think these need to be Just trying to figure out if I want vertical or horizontal cards. You know what? I think I'm gonna do horizontal cards. Usually I do vertical, but this layout kind of makes me feel like I need to do horizontal. Now you want to make sure that you're using your proper blade. If I'm doing a ton of cutting, I like to flip it so that my cutting blade is out and I score everything, and then I take my scoring blade out and then use it to trim everything. Not sure why I've got my weeding tool in the picture all of a sudden. All right. So there's our pieces. Ooh, that one's probably my favorite. So I'll use that one first, and you know what? I'm not loving this one 100%, so we're gonna tweak it. Okay, we're gonna grab our adhesive. Oops. I'm gonna go this way. So then you can either tweak it and then adhere it to your card base. I'm gonna go the other way because why not? Okay, so yeah, I think this needs a little bit more green. So I'm gonna use the smaller leaf and bring back our garden green. Perfect. Yep, that's good. And then we're gonna bring in our berries again with our real red, and we're gonna add a little bit more red. Now I do also have the coordinating die set with this one. I'm not using it for this, but I will be later this week on another video. It's too pretty to not use. All right. Yeah, I like that better. Okay, and then we are going to, I think we're going to use black for our sentiment pieces. And what sentiment are we going to use here? Season's Greetings. I think that's fairly timeless. And we'll bring this, whoops, bring this one down. Now, as I said, the finished product will be over in my VIP, which is Prairie Sky Paper Crafters over on Facebook. Actually, we're going to do a little tester. There, that's better. Not quite so heavy on the black. I think black just gives it a little bit of something. Just kind of like the little black dress, right? It just kind of adds a little bit of something and grounds it. There you go. So there's half of our cards made out of our one piece of One Sheet Wonder DIY DSP. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to head over to the VIP group, and information is down below for my email list as well. As always, thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate your time. Have a fantastic rest of your day. I'll see you soon.